I want to go back to, we touched on your high school experience, 1958, out of Coon Rapids, had some success at the state meet. Where'd you go as far as continuing your track career from there?
I went to South Dakota University for a couple years, and I think I stayed in track 1 year up there, and it didn't work out. And then I ended up in Maryville my junior and senior year, and ran both the highs and lows at Maryville. And at that time, the lows were be 220 yards.
Okay.
Is what we ran. So which was a little bit better than what they have to do today. And the highs were the same. But of course the highs were raised up to 41 inches. After that, they're higher than the high school highs. So for a short guy, it was a little tougher, but I still could get through.
So how'd you wind up at Audubon for, what, almost 50 years now?
Yeah, I went to Grimes for 1 year. Then I was from Coon, of course, and this job opened up. And it was for 7th grade, and I had football, basketball, track, basically. And that was probably the main reason. Bigger school, we just combined with bio and grade come in that year. And we had some good sized classes, 130, 140 in a class. And it was just more of an opportunity than being down around Des Moines. We lived in Des Moines for a year.
So what all roles have you had on the coach, as far as a coach here in Audubon?
Coaching, mostly when I came here, it was all junior high stuff, basically, to begin with. When I first came, I had both boys and girls basketball, 7th and 8th. They couldn't find a coach, I think, that first year for one of them, so I had 4 teams. And then track and football. And then as we came up through in about middle 1980s, Coach Monahan needed an assistant. My own son was coming through then too, so that kind of helped. So I got with him for probably 6 or 8 years. And in fact, like I just mentioned too, all the records that we broke this year, he was on. So it's been what, about 28 years that he had the highs and the lows and the shuttle, which is fine. No big problem. We keep working on that. So I stayed with the boys a few years after that, got out. Coach Willett came, football, and he had girls track. And we had 3 freshmen, I think, and a sophomore girl that was good, but no one knew anything about hurdling, so I just volunteered for, probably ended up 6, 8 years with the girls. And then I was helping with the boys too. And then going into the 90s, I was still helping with the girls, and even 6, 7 years ago, and the boys too. And then of course in 2010, the girls won the state in the shuttle. And then a couple years ago, when Monahan left, I was still volunteering, and Lonnie says, "Well, you're here all the time. Why don't we'll just hire as an assistant, pay you." So I said, "Oh, that's fine. If I can keep doing what I have been doing," he said, "No problem." So I still work with the boy hurdlers mostly, and I kind of got away from the girls now because I just don't have the time. And because with the junior high here too, we kind of work with them, mostly the boys. And I do work with shot and discus some too. Now, but it's mostly hurdling. When we come down, we warm up, and Monty's been really, really good at. I do my thing first before they have to do anything else, run and do what they, for the distance stuff. So we work out for probably 20, 25 minutes, and then they go and do these other things. But a lot of times when they're done, they come back and they run more. You can't get them away from them sometimes, especially Nolan, a whole bunch, Mitch, Jake. So, and I think what's really, like I said before, what's really helped is the junior high coming up through, and these kids helping them, and it just builds, it just kind of snowballs. Once you get it going, they just keep it going by themselves.
So who are some of got to be a lot of names to pick from, probably your own children included, but great hurdlers Audubon's had. Who comes to mind?
Well, I hate to leave anybody out. Probably the first one was, first one, 1986, and Eric graduated in 88, but in 86 I had a high hurdler, Jim Fedderson. And he was a big, strong kid, about 6'2", probably 180, 90, but he wasn't near the top in the state. But he can meet at the Drake Relays. We get down there, it's a 30-mile-an-hour wind from the south. Strong kid. Monahan and I were sitting at the finish line, and here they come, and he was right in there, and one of the officials standing there, one of the helpers, said, "I think your guy got it," and he did. So this kid won Drake Relays in '86,
Wow.
and never expected it. Bad part was, back then, to qualify for state, I think they took the first 2 out of each district. He got third in the district.
Wow.
He got third. Didn't make state. He was a Drake champion. He didn't make it. Also that year, 1 year they didn't give him medals at Drake, so we got him a little plaque. But anyway, then Eric, he had the record for a long, long time. But I had a Jody Best from, if you know the name of the Best Girls from, well, I'm talking the Best Girls from Exile, they came up there to school. She got second in the 400 hurdles 7, 8 years ago by just a little bit. Then a shuttle a few years ago that we had that won the state. And then of course this year. And every year there's been, you know, we usually get somebody down there, but we always don't place as high. And then we've gotten kids into the finals and too. Lacey Vogt was really outstanding. And Brittany Obermeyer, if you can remember her, she was on the state basketball team too. And then there was Olivia Nelson and Emily Super are the 4 that won. And that was kind of interesting because we went in as maybe the 6th, 7th best time in the state qualifying, and we got into the we were about 5th or 6th, and we were in the slow heat. We ran good except for one. And I usually never done this. Like, we got out and back for the finals. They said, "Now you 3 did well, but you got to do a little better. You know,
Really?
you can kick it in." And she got about a second off, and a real good time. So then the fast heat comes in, and the favorites, the time went up, and it might have been close to a record time down there. And they had a girl hit a hurdle. So we won it.
Wow.
So that was a good time. That was good.
So, can you teach anybody to be a good hurdler, or if they don't have that flexibility? That, I mean, you think you can?
No, it takes a special. It takes a special kind. Yeah, they got to have some flexibility and the speed, because it's a lot of kids that have tight hips. You just can't do it. You know, they come up and they just can't get over it, and everything's too stiff and everything. So you got to be loose, mainly.
What do you like the most about coaching? How come you keep doing it all these years?
I think being through it once, you know, and getting a state and all that stuff, I enjoy getting kids to state. And because it's an experience. Like, you get down to state track meet, you see, you know, the big crowds and the people cheering and all this. It's something they will never forget. And I think that's probably the main reason I do it. Plus to keep me active in something too. And I like working with these high school kids because they're here for a reason, most of them. They're not just out here to be, you know, goofing around and doing things. So that's probably the main thing. In the past, I always taught junior high and 5th and 6th grade. But with the high school kids, it's a little different. A little more maturity there in most of them.
You hope so,
I
anyway.
hope so, yeah.
Are you going to do this forever?
I'm going to do it as long as I can. Yeah. I've said before now, my wife might have to wheel me down here someday. I can sit here and watch. But, and I should say something, you know, like I said before, she's put up with this for many years. Her name is Josie. And I just really appreciate, you know, I know she'd allow me to do it, but I'm sure she gets tired of me listening to me too.
So where do you think you would have been if back in the late 1950s your high school coach hadn't said, "Hey, you want to try the hurdles"?
I don't know. I really don't know. I wouldn't be doing this. I wouldn't be doing this. No, it's like I say, it's just a one sentence thing, or one thing that we talked about that's continued for so many years, and I really don't know what I'd do without it. I keep saying this too. I don't know what I'd do without it. I love doing it.
You think there should be more hurdle events in a meet?
No, this is enough. This isn't. I couldn't take any more, especially after Saturday with Mitchell. But anyway, getting DQ'd and everything. But no, I think we've got enough.
Any other coaches you can think of, or you talked about going to the clinics where you continue to pick up things and you can learn more and more about the hurdles? Who else has helped you out along the way?
Oh, really? I don't. I can't really think of anybody that's really done a lot, you know, with having me do things. I would like to compliment Bruce Henderson. I've got to know him the last few years. The old, coach from Atlantic. He was at a lot of our meets this year, and I've talked to him. He's always smiling, giving us a thumbs up. But really, there's not that many hurdlers around that you can really, And I think that's what helps me with hurdles too, is because I did it. And there's not a lot of coaches that have done it. Now, you can teach technique and a lot of things, but it's kind of hard teaching it if you haven't been through some things too.
Well, hey, thanks a bunch for taking the time. I'm glad I got to catch up with you, and
Thank
good
you.
talking hurdles with you.
Thank you. Enjoyed it.